Hello and welcome everyone. Sgln is going to be the hot pick for tonight. We're looking at May 12th, 2012. I've broken down a 6-month chart on the particular stock, and we can see we had a recent high here of 0035 and recent lows here of 0003 and for a very brief moment 0002. Now what we had here is basically some sideways movement and not a lot of volume. You can see when the volume had picked up here around the end of January. You see we had a very large run all the way up to 0035, and you can see the tricks had crossed up, giving us that buy signal or confirming upward momentum was coming into the stock. Unfortunately, the stock had run pretty hard, pretty quick, and had left a gap. So generally what happens when stocks have gaps is they need to get closed. So we had a bit of a gap area right here, and you can see that once the stock came down and closed the gap, it had lost some of its volume and seemed to basically have ended its upward move, and the TRIX, the tricks, had crossed down shortly after. So we actually built up a negative downward trend from here, moving into a downtrend. So we've got this negative trend line here pushing the prices lower. You know, once we can connect it at least 3 times in a straight line, it basically confirms that this is the trend line we want to watch for, and when that trend line gets broken, we know that the stock's going to reverse in the opposite direction. Now, another important thing to watch when you're looking at a stock moving in a downtrend, trying to determine maybe when a bottom could be in, is when volume picks up. Now, if we take a look at volume, we had a little bit of a volume spike up here, but volume really got strong as we hit the 0003 support area, and we had a lot of volume generated here. So this generally will set in a support area and stabilize a bottom, and it's just a matter of time for the next run to come in. So you can see the volume picked up, set in the support, it kind of died down a little bit, and then when the volume came back in a second time, the stock starts to run. We broke past the resistance trend line, and now we're 2 days into the upward trend, our breakout day here, and then we've had another day. Today we closed up 12.5%. So it looks like this trend's getting ready to continue. Closed at 0009 on 25.4 million shares traded. So it's got very strong volume, very liquid. You can also see that our TRIX is crossed upward, suggesting that positive momentum's coming back into the stock. Now this run is a little different than the last run that we saw, because the last one was a big gap, and then then we had a big pullback and closed the gap. Here we don't have any gaps. It's more of a stable, solid run. So this is something we like to see. We're looking for possibly some resistance, maybe around the 0012 area. You can see we have some highs up in here. This could be a possible resistance. Of course, watch for also resistance at the 0035 area as well. Watch the moving averages. We have the 100-day moving average at 0009 and the 200-day moving average just above that at 0015. If we do see any pullback, we've got the 50-day moving average at 0006. Also, we can look to see, we only have 2 connecting low points here, but we may be able to determine the upward direction of this trend. So watch for any possible pullback. If we do see a little bit of selling, watch for it to be met possibly along the support trend line, and we could see it bounce off that particular level. Of course, it could just continue on running up from here. Thanks very much for watching, and happy trading. Remember, I'm not an investment advisor, so don't use this for any buy or sell signal.